If you're pouring your heart into your podcast, but still struggling to turn those listeners into paying clients, I've got something just for you. Imagine having a clear, simple plan to turn your listeners into buyers without relying on a huge audience or spending hours on social media. That's exactly what we'll create together in a podcast profit plan discovery call. During this free 20-minute call, I'll help you discover more opportunities for profit in your podcast and give you the next best step to turn your show into a client attracting machine. If I've got an offer that will help you expedite this process, then we can also discuss working together. Book your free podcast profit plan discovery call now by going to podcastingformoms.co/profit plan or by clicking the link in the show notes. I can't wait to chat with you. Let's be honest, podcasting as a mom is a whole different game. And most of the advice out there, it's not built for someone who's juggling client work, school drop-off, and recording episodes during nap time. In today's episode, I am breaking down the 3 biggest mistakes I see mom podcasters make all the time and how to avoid them so that you can launch or grow your podcast without burning out, ghosting your show, or overcomplicating the process. If your podcast has ever felt heavier than it should, this one's for you. Welcome to Podcasting for Moms, the show for moms in business ready to start, grow, and scale a podcast that turns their listeners into buyers. I'm Jenny Sonneson, a podcast strategist and fellow mom entrepreneur. You're in the right place if you want to learn how to start and grow a podcast that attracts your ideal clients and really does the heavy lifting for you when it comes to selling your offers, all while balancing life as a busy mom. Are you ready to create a podcast that grows your income, impact, and influence? Let's make podcasting work for you because as moms, we know how to get things done. All right, let's jump into the episode. Hey there, welcome back to Podcasting for Moms, your go-to space for launching and growing a podcast that works for your business and your busy life. Today, we're continuing the minimum viable podcast series with a spicy one. The 3 biggest mistakes I see most mom podcasters make and how you can skip right over them. And if you missed the first episode in the series, definitely go back and listen to it. We talked about ditching the perfectionism that's keeping you stuck and starting a podcast that's simple and impactful. But today, we're getting a little more tactical. Because the truth is, most podcasting advice isn't built for moms with limited time and mental bandwidth, and that's where things start to fall apart. So let's dive in. So the first mistake is overcomplicating the process. You already know how this goes. You start Googling how to launch a podcast and you get 5,000 conflicting answers. Suddenly you think you need an audio engineer, a 90-day strategy, 3 different email funnels, and a launch team before you can even hit record. And you end up feeling too overwhelmed to move forward. And that's because overcomplication equals inaction. But you don't need all of that. Not to get started, at least. What you do need is a simple strategic foundation, aka a minimum viable podcast. When I help moms launch with the MVP framework, we focus on what actually matters. Your message, your first few episodes, and your workflow, not all the fluff. The second mistake is trying to do it all alone. Moms are resourceful, no doubt, but trying to DIY every single piece of your podcast from branding and content strategy to editing and promotion quickly leads to burnout. Podcasting in a vacuum isn't just lonely, it's unsustainable. And I see so many moms either give up because they're overwhelmed or ghost their podcast after just a few episodes because they just can't keep up. Community and support matter so much more than we think. And that's why I created the Moms Behind the Mic Society, because having a place to get feedback, brainstorm ideas, and stay accountable is a total game changer. And the third mistake is launching without a clear message. This one is sneaky. You might have an idea, a name, a vibe, but if your message isn't clear, as in who you're speaking to, why your show matters, and how it connects to your business, then your podcast will likely feel a little aimless and ultimately much harder to grow. Podcasting without a clear message, whether you're just starting or you've been at it for a while, can make your show feel scattered, unaligned, or like it's not connecting with the right people. This is something that we work through deeply within my MVP framework before we even touch your mic. Because clarity isn't just nice to have, it's what makes your podcast magnetic. So quick recap. If you're planning a podcast or you already have one but you feel stuck, ask yourself these questions. Am I overcomplicating the process? The second question is, am I trying to do this totally alone? And the third question to ask yourself is my message 100% clear and aligned with my goals? If you said yes to any of those, it might be time for a refresh. And that's exactly what the minimum viable podcast framework is here to help you do. Next week, I'm going to be walking you through what the MVP framework actually looks like, how we simplify the launch process, build sustainable systems, and get your podcast working for you. So if you've been craving clarity and a plan that doesn't make you want to scream into your pillow, don't miss it. And if you're nodding along thinking, yeah, I've definitely made some of these mistakes, then it might be time for you to do things differently. And I've got you. If you want personalized support to launch or reset your podcast using the MVP framework, you can do the following. Apply for one-on-one podcast coaching with me, where we build your entire podcast strategy together, or you can join Moms Behind the Mic Society to get access to my MVP tools, launch templates, feedback sessions, and community support. Links to all these things are in the show notes, and I'd love to support you either way. Until next time, keep it simple, keep it sustainable, and keep showing up. Your voice matters. I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for tuning into Podcasting for Moms. I hope today's episode gave you the tools and inspiration you need to make your podcast work smarter, not harder. If you love what you heard, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. It means the world and helps other moms in business find the show. For more tips, resources, and support, head to podcastingformoms.co. Remember, you're not just building a podcast, you're building your legacy. Until next time, friends.